Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember MEAD magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today.
We're gonna get a little bit crazy, wild and maybe even vulgar, if you please. It's after dark and we're gonna light it up. Got some fun in store for you, no tease. It's time for Midnight Sesh After Dark. A little naughty, will hopefully make you chuckle, but we ain't trying to hurt nobody. So get ready quick on the double, cause it's time for Midnight Sesh After Dark.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. We're here. We're going to talk about the PS5 Pro reaction. We may have a Skeletor and more. Welcome. One and all in one.
And it makes French fries too. We also have joining us today, Mr. Scribelight. How you doing?
Doing all right. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a good... It's Tuesday. It's Super Tuesday.
It's Taco Tuesday, as
Taco
Ace
Tuesday.
points out. Yes.
Hello to my fellow panelists. Hope you're all doing good today.
Indeed. Hopefully you're doing well as well. We also have with us a Canadian, Mr. CC Kuroki. How you doing?
Circles now.
Yes, we're circles now.
We look like records, actually, like albums.
Yeah.
Watch
kinda
out,
cool, actually.
here I come. Indeed. We also have with us Price of Reason. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I hope my mic is working.
It is.
Yes.
Hopefully mine is as well. And we should have some more gentlemen and maybe a lady, who knows, if you never know, joining us at some point here. But for now, it's just us. But hey, hopefully that's good enough for you out there in YouTube land. I see we got D-Bud swinging a wrench around and Daryl as well. Thank you for that. War Monkey's here with a wrench too. We got Lance Corporal Waffles. We got Lombardi 1969. Hamdinger is here. We also have Darth Maul. We have, let's see here, John 42, which is the answer to everything if your name's John. Aaron Ratliff's here. We got Yekno Mino, FKHC 2005, and so many more. Bryant Barth, I see in here. George Bonnie is here. 90. There's 90 of them, so he's the 90th. Hit that like button if you would, and share out the link. Let everybody know we're live. Yes, I'm getting on with it, as FKHC 2005 brings up here. Get on with it. Yes, indeed. That's from Monty Python, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's been an interesting day or so with losses and also some announcements. So we're going to get into that here. We got SFX F314 Sabretooth Raptor sending in some support right off the bat. It says, rest in peace, James Earl Jones and Peter Renaday, aka Splinter Tom, sending some support from one TMNT fan to another, especially the originals and best. Well, thank you for that, Sabretooth Raptor. And yeah, Peter Renaday, and we also lost, of course, a legend yesterday. Yeah, this came down not too long after we just finished our live stream, or we would have talked about it there, I'm sure, on the morning show. But yeah, Peter Renaday, he will be missed, aka the voice of Splinter. and several other cartoon voices over the years. And this one, speaking of voices, wow. This is one I think that hit a lot of people pretty hard. But I mean, lived a long, fruitful life. A great actor, a Broadway actor, an EGOT winner. For those who don't know what an EGOT is, that's somebody who's won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, a Tony, right? I got them all, right? EGOT. Okay, so yes, it's all the major entertainment awards.
I could say now about that, but I don't know if it's PC.
You say whatever you want. I don't care.
I'll tell you
in
what
trouble.
I think.
That's on you.
Okay, I think that James Earl Jones got those awards back when they were merit only based. You know what I mean? A lot of these awards today, I don't take them seriously. James Earl Jones worked for those awards, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, no, he's somebody, and this is what I love about this whole thing too. Or not love about it, but I mean that I find ironic. I should say, that's a better way of putting it. Over the last day or so, is how many people have finally realized how long of a career this man had, right? And how he was a very prominent black actor in the 60s, 70s, up through, I mean, he was around in an era that brought us like Sidney Poitier and other guys who really knocked down a lot of fences and broke through literal glass ceilings, bitches. Right? I mean,
and I got to say, just as a casual observer, it is a credit to the man's ability and popularity and just his skill that I have seen people from every corner of society mourning his death. Like it wasn't some kind of one-sided thing or like only a very small portion or some kind of niche thing. Like this is a global mourning for him, which
it is, with the exception of one man on Twitter who went to my account and wrote that it saddened him that an alt-right person like myself was mourning James Earl Jones. Somebody wrote that to me.
Are you fucking kidding me? We're already being accused of being racist all the goddamn time. Make up our fucking minds already. Jesus.
The thing is that why did you think I was alt-right? I don't think I've ever presented myself that way.
First of all, you fell for the alt-right thing. There is no such thing, except for all three Nazis that still exist.
You're probably
and most
right.
of them are posers. Honestly, let's be real.
No, but I really got a comment like that. I'm not even making it up. Somebody went especially.
Oh, I believe you. Dude, it never fails when somebody, especially of his age, dies. Somebody's got to say or do or drag something up so fucking stupid. And since James Earl Jones is not somebody who's ever been really controversial, I don't think he's ever had an accusation against him that was any uncouth or anything. Period. I can think of.
Never Me Too'd.
Never, ever in his whole life.
I was curious. So since we're on the subject, I'll hold off mine because I know what mine is. But aside from Darth Vader, because that's a bit too easy, what is your favorite James Earl Jones performance?
Oh, I answered mine yesterday on Mephisto's, so I'll just go right away and say, I mean, he's got so many great ones. I even like him in Exorcist 2. I mean, pretty much he's one of those actors, he's one of those actors that can rise above the film he's in.
Sure.
Right? And I'm not even talking about the color of his skin or any of that shit. It's his gravitas, right? And that's the thing most people forget about when George Lucas hired him to play Darth Vader. It wasn't because he was black. It wasn't any of that kind of thing. It was just because he had that gravitas and that voice that just, it's James Earl Jones. But I mean, him playing Thulsa Doom and Conan, I think he got to do the most as far as really getting to relish and play up his Broadway, training and all that kind of stuff. Because, man, I mean, that's probably one that he's knocking it as hard as he can, whether he hits a home run or not. In my opinion, he hit a home run, but I mean, considering the character, I mean, yeah.
And he rarely, at least as far as I don't know his entire filmography, but he rarely played villains. So I think that was an interesting turn for him.
That's another reason why I like it too, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Vader and Thulsa Doom are the two main villains he ever played, from my knowledge. I like him with
King Jaffe Joffer. I don't care what.
Of course, that's probably his most fun.
He's really fun.
Have you had sex with your bathers? I know I do.
And
I see Field of Dreams in the chat.
Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Well, of course, Field of Dreams and The Sandlot, of course. Yeah, I mean, so many films. I mean, he's one of those just welcome presents in any film.
He never phones it in. You never see like a movie that it's like it says it James Earl Jones, and you think, oh, he's just gonna phone it in. That never happens.
My favorite of all time, aside from the obvious, is The Hunt for Red October. I think that might have been the first time growing up that I saw the face behind Vader, because I was wasn't as much of a movie file, and of course, I could only see what was at the video store and such. So when I saw Hunt for Red October and Alec Baldwin walks into that room, and you just hear him go, "Jack," and that voice, and I'm just like, wait a second, I know who that is. And to see him smiling and being all congenial, I'm like, but he's the Dark Lord.
What's really cool is when you see him when he's younger and stuff, and you don't really recognize him at first, and then you hear the voice, and you're like, oh, that is, I thought it looked like him, but I wasn't 100%. Like, you have all this older stuff, but like Great White Hope he was in, I mean, Dr. Strangelove, I mean.
Yes,
Dr. Strangelove. I mean, just so much stuff.
I think that was his first movie, wasn't it? Dr. Strangelove?
It may have been his actual first studio picture, I'm not 100%
feature film, yeah.
I see Click on his repertoire too there. Which, I mean, that's still one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies, and just an opportunity for me to say that. It's a movie worth rewatching. But his narration ability, right? You always think of Morgan Freeman, but James Earl Jones as a narrator. That's why I shared the Babylon Bee story in the back.
I was just gonna say here, actually, I have it ready.
I loved it when I saw that. Yeah,
from my ex, actually, before you even sent that, because I saw this yesterday, and I went through all the sadness. It's like I saw that and I had a nice little giggle, and I mean,
that's great. I thought that was pretty tasteful.
For those who can't see, if you're just listening, Babylon Bee put out a story that says God announces he will now be voiced by James Earl Jones. So very fitting.
Now I wonder what his last words were. All things considered, now I'm morbidly curious to know what the last thing he said was.
I mean, I kind of have a feeling he kind of knew the end was. I hate putting it this way, but he kind of knew it was his time was getting. Yeah, I mean, he just sold his voice rights to Star Wars, for instance, like a year or two ago or whatever it was. So, I mean, there's just a few things like that kind of just tell me that he kind of knew that, he even had the whole funeral bit in Coming to America 2 as well, which I kind of thought was meh. That was probably one of the better parts of the film, but, him insisting to have a funeral while he was still alive. But, anyway, it's sad. Two big losses, one especially a legend and a half. I mean, come on. But of course, why would we celebrate somebody like him because we're so Rossicist, right, Price? I mean,
yeah.
You right winger, you. CC, you've been mostly quiet. I know you just said a few things. Was there anything more you wanted to add to it since you have said the least, probably?
No, I would just on Price of Reason. If you flip your avatar so you're looking left instead of right, maybe you'll trick everyone into thinking you're left.
There you go.
You know why? I was on a stream with a friend, and he's like, "Oh, like, why is it to the right? You have to be to the left." So I flipped it. I don't know why I flipped it. Is it any better or worse?
You can finally do a face reveal, show us all that you're black, and then they can't come after you anymore.
My vote is still Blasian.
See, I keep thinking that he's like Eastern European or something.
Well, that could fall in that category.
With that accent, like maybe like Romanian or something.
No, I think Andre would have picked that out.
What?
No, never mind. You don't have an accent. Never mind.
He'd have been like, "You fucking Swede." Get off of my channel. No.
We're still at war.
I declare war on Sweden. No, I'm just kidding. He loves Swedish people. I give him so much shit for that, like all the fucking time. And if I ever catch him saying anything that's remotely negative, and I'll give him more shit. He's like, "No, I really do like Swedes. I don't have any problem with Sweden or Swedes. I don't." He gets so defensive about it. It's like, It's like, I remember.
I love the bikini team. The bikini team is wonderful.
Well, one I don't let him live down is the first time I showed him AI Andre. He's like, I sound like a fucking Swede. It's like keep reminding him of that. It's like you're racist.
Wow.
Or xenophobic.
He's a Swedophobe.
He's a Swedophile. We got Captain Fandom Nerd Hail, sir, for 35 mega months.
Wow.
Thank you for that. He says, rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Indeed, indeed. And yes, if you'd like to help support us here at the channel, always feel free to send in a super chat. You can also become a member. If you send in a super chat, you can also be part of the show because we talk about you by bringing up your super chat, like CC's here as a member chat for 2 years.
Yeah, so I had to send that one in.
Damn.
Wow. The only Swedish Tom likes is a Swedish fish gets stuck to your teeth.
Ew.
Who can eat those things?
The Swedes?
I guess. Do they have like non-sticky teeth or something?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
They have Teflon teeth in Sweden.
Oh, Teflon teeth. I like that.
Yeah.
Teflon teeth.
Yeah.
So, the big news of the day. Oh, we got another member chat here from Stark of Iron. How you doing? It says, sending a hearty hail. Well, hail to you. It says, rest in peace, James Earl Jones. Indeed. Only 7 months here, but getting there. Indeed, you're almost a baby. At 9 months. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
They may be delicious, but they stick to your teeth, Lance. They do. They're like annoying. They annoyingly stick because you're like, oh, Swedish, the fish.
Maybe that's where their accent comes from, with like trying to talk around the fish.
Stinky.
Uh-oh. Pressure's on.
Tripping Orc sends in his member chat for 20 months. It says, when do we start doing karaoke streams again? Well,
On the spot.
Yeah.
Well, this past Friday, I did a stream. I did what CC told me with the restream, and it actually came out okay, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, you were mixed well. The audio sounded good.
To it?
Restream is better than StreamYard.
Oh, I missed you. I didn't know you were doing it.
No, but CC, did you hear it?
I did.
Wow. Oh, okay, nice.
Well, I didn't hear it live, but you sent me the link after, so you know.
Oh, okay. I gave you a shout out.
Thanks.
In the stream, I mentioned you, yeah.
Daryl informs me that you're supposed to suck on the Swedish fish. Is that true?
That fish.
Suck that fish. Well, we'll hopefully be this Friday, Tripping Orc, if not soon, because I know a lot of it's because you're traveling right now, CC, and your intranet is not always the best. Or
Yeah, summer's a challenge. I'm also not plugged into actual power, so I'm
right.
You know, there's a lot of factors at play. I'll be back settled in November, so one way or the other, there will be some kind of karaoke happening from then.
Well, and Stark of Iron
that.
Sends in another 2 to say, I'm always down for karaoke. Well, thank you for that, Stark, and the support. And
Stark runs a great show.
Awesome. D-Bud's here as well and says, ask Andre what he thinks of the Danish. Oh, I don't know if I should. And then death metal playing Finns. Oh, they'll probably say, like, the less said about the Finnish, the better.
You do that way too well. You got too much practice.
You listen to them day in, day out for years straight.
Stuff, yeah, I guess.
I mean, you kind of get the patterns down pretty good. I mean, and that's kind of what I do. So, I mean, that's usually the way of cracking a voice, is just kind of finding certain patterns to break into. And once you find it, you can pretty much do and say anything as long as you stay within.
You got to set up like a character called Nandre and like do that. Yeah, Nandre.
Well, I've been working on Trump lately because that's supposed to be.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you know, I got to be ready for him to be back again.
Oh,
it's real easy to do. It's real easy.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
I'm
Trump
better than
back.
Slim Shady.
I don't think he'd like it.
He killed him. He killed Slim Shady. Why would you do that? Everybody knows who Slim Shady is.
My miles are not
chick
going to be
from
8
Rings
miles.
of Power?
My miles going
It's
to be
huge.
10 miles. 10 miles is huge. It's better. The greatest
Is that
mile
a
ever.
chick
It's the
from
greatest
10 miles.
mileage ever. Anyway, D-Bud says, ask Andre what... Oh, we got this one already. All right, so now we're caught up. With that, let's get into the big news of the day, as I was teasing before. And I know CC was really excited to probably talk about this, because we don't often talk about gaming news on here. But Sony officially revealed the PS5 Pro during PlayStation 5 technical presentation.
Yay.
Wow.
Yeah.
The
It had-
mid-gen starts now. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was welcomed as much as a wet fart, basically.
Yeah, that's what it was like. Yeah.
I mean, between
Wow.
Concord, Dustborn, and now Ubisoft taking a dive. I mean, why not? Why not add to the problem?
And there was
This
not
whole
much
generation-
rejoicing.
This whole generation's a debacle for Sony. Not even that the PS4 was amazing either, honestly.
No,
it's better than
honestly,
this, though.
the PS3 is still probably one of the greatest gaming systems ever, period, hands down, bar none. It did everything.
It was a fantastic system, and I might argue for the PS2, but the fact that they were great, both of them great
Oh,
systems.
you need the PS2 to get to the PS3, absolutely, yeah.
The PS4 is fine, but I mean, it was no PS2 or PS3. It wasn't any of the first
It was
two.
basically a PS3 Pro. Right?
Yeah.
Like, really, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really all it was. But then it didn't play PS3 games.
Like, I'll give Sony COVID for a start. And they no,
Give it COVID.
they
You
did
take it.
release. Nintendo was smart enough to say no way, and they waited on the Switch 2 for a long time. And that probably turned out to be a good choice, even if it's been frustrating.
I almost
So,
thought you
like-
were saying that like it's their punishment for doing this to you. I'm going to give Sony COVID.
Well,
I got a question though. With the removal of the hard disk drive, what is the functional difference between a PlayStation 5 and say a Steam Link?
Nothing. But anyway,
Yeah.
CC was in the middle of a point. I apologize.
sorry,
for
pardon me.
interrupt- No,
Pardon
I
me.
interrupted him first. So that was
no.
my fault.
I mean, I guess it's probably common knowledge to a point, but I mean, the PS5 did launch in the midst of the chip shortages. There was a shortage of systems. Nobody could buy the systems. Systems are still grossly overpriced to begin with. So when you lose those first 3 years of the system cycle, and they didn't, and not to Sony's benefit, they didn't really provide any games worth a dang. So between those two things, now you're 3-4 years later, and technology's moving along. I mean, we'll get to the article, but it's like, what's the value in any of this right now?
Well, and that's just it. There's not really much to brag about here. This is nothing to brag about. Okay, so what you get here is upgraded GPU. With PS5 Pro, we are upgrading to GPU that has 67 more compute units than the current PS5 console and 28% faster memory. Overall, this enables up to a 45% faster rendering for gameplay, making the experience much smoother. Okay. Advanced ray tracing. Well, there's something fancy. We've added even more powerful ray tracing that provides more dynamic reflection and refraction of light. This allows the rays to be cast at double and at times triple the speed of the current PS5 console. Maybe make some games that actually fucking are worth the shit first to play on it. Then maybe we care about some of this shit. Oh, Lord. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, this all got me thinking back. I mean, the PS3 was a great system, especially look back at like PS1, especially like the PS2 had such an enormous library, and it's just completely packed with games that you can only play on the PS2.
Right.
Thankfully, you can now play them on your computer, but at the time, right? And it's not just Sony, but consoles in general have become less and less exclusive. Nintendo's remained Nintendo's definitely kept some exclusivity, right? But then if you're not going to sell a console on games that can only be played on that particular console, then you got to sell it on other things. And what does the PS5 even offer, right? I mean, it's when it first came out, maybe there was a slight bit of value there because even at $700, the power of the PS5 at release might have been more value than a $700 computer at that time. But you look at, it's not just the fact that they don't have games on the PS5 that are really worth anything. I mean, other than games that you can play on other consoles and on your PC, it's the fact that, and I have to laugh at the whole, like the showcase reveal on this thing is like, this system plays games at 120 frames per second. Yeah, like since when? The PS5 plays games at 30 frames per second. If you're lucky sometimes.
Yeah. Well, we can play the reveal trailer here whenever you want. Did you have more
we can go through it. I'm just my point is, like, you can buy a laptop or a PC for $700 American dollars that's going to be at least as powerful as this thing. And you get the computer, not just the gaming, you get the computer to go with it. So
well, I remember that the PS3 was so powerful. You had, what was it? Fucking NORAD or whatever it was using the PS3s, like daisy chaining them or some shit like that. Who the fuck was it? Somebody in the government was, because they were so powerful. They were the best computers out there at the time. But yeah, let's check this. This is their actual launch trailer.
Ooh, so epic. Oh.
Are you kidding me? Come on.
It's a lot of fluff.
Are the lyrics to that song Dumb Dumb Dumb?
Could be dumb.
Dumb Dumb Dumb.
Dumb Dumb Dumb. It's a 9-minute video. The high frame rates is just 120 FPS. Holy! Since when does the PS5 get 120 FPS in anything with, like, graphical fidelity behind it?
Whoa! Vertical stand sold separately.
Yeah. Play has no limits.
Now I was told, okay, now on the original oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Now on the original PlayStation 4, 5, whatever fuck I'm talking about anymore. I was told that you shouldn't put it on its put it upright, because it can fuck it up real good. I don't know if you guys know about that or not, but yeah. So
is
yeah,
that because was that because the disk drive platter spinning in the wrong direction or something?
No, somebody said something about it fucks up the heat core or something like that. Like,
oh, okay.
Anyway, we got Nick joining us as well. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, dudes. How's it going?
Hey, bud.
Hey, man. He's gonna shit. He's gonna kill me. Which one is
so
it?
wasted.
He's gonna kill us.
Which one is he? He's gonna shit or is he gonna kill us? He's gonna shit and then he's gonna kill us. So the last thing they had on here was the AI driven upscaling. We're also introducing PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, an AI driven upscaling that uses machines learning based technology to provide super sharp image clarity by adding an extraordinary amount of detail. That's not how the Force works, kids. Get ready for nightmare fuel at only $699.99. And act now and you can pay extra to get a add-on that you can play discs for it.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck this stupid thing. It's too expensive.
$700 you can buy a functional gaming PC for that. You know,
honestly, I'm not even as impressed with the main PS5, to be honest. I mean, it's fun. If they had some games that were worth the shit, that's the problem. Yes, it's the one I have. I would love to see them be able to max out and use what it has so far. And maybe that's where you're coming from, CC, because like you're acting like, what's the point of all this?
I'm running a 3070 Ti. It's a laptop. And the current value of that laptop is about $1,000 US, which is more than 700. I'll grant you that. But I mean, my laptop can absolutely wreck the original PS5. And if this PS5 Pro is like a little bit better, I don't know how much I don't know if it's going to beat my It's a laptop. If I built a desktop, I could probably build it for cheaper.
I have yet to see a game that blows me away. Like, a lot of the games so far have not advanced that much farther than PS3 or PS4. Right? And even in PS3 to PS4, there was mostly just changes within, like, the graphical nature. And even then, it was so subtly different in comparison to PS2 to PS3 or PS1 to PS2, right? And I get that. Once you get to diminishing results, it's the same thing with like 4K to where like 6K and 8K will probably never be a thing, because once you hit 4K and beyond, it's like, can the human eye really tell that much of a difference? You know what I mean? I mean, now gaming, I get it. There's a whole lot of variables. There's a lot of differences, but the last thing I would want is some AI fucking with me at the same damn time. So I don't even understand the use of that. Like, really? Like, your games are supposed to look good already. What the fuck you need an AI there for to help them look better? Like, where we're at with the PS5 now, I'm sorry. These games should be almost goddamn photorealistic. I mean, yes, we're almost kind of getting there to a point, but like, I mean, I was promised Toy Story level graphics way back when. We finally got to that point with PS3, I'd say. Right? And I mean, I don't know. I just don't see the sense in this. I haven't spent that much time with my other PS5 because there's not enough games for me to play now. Not that I have the time to play that many, but nothing that's really, you know, driving me to want to play it. Sure, I can get a Madden game or a football game, but even those graphically, I wouldn't say are that much of an improvement yet. Like, that's the thing I'm bitching about here with this, is I have not seen them use the PS5 to its full capacity or its full, you know, possibilities yet. It's like they haven't even tried to innovate anything in the last. This is what I was bitching about one day, but everybody's like, oh no, they've done this and they've done that. It's like, yeah, but everything runs off the same 3 fucking engines all the time. How is that innovation? But anyway, you guys know more about gaming than I do, so I'm going to shut up.
No, I might be, actually I am. I'm very old at this point, but I remember way back in the day when like the Super Nintendo came out, and everybody was like, oh my God, look at the graphics on this. Look at the graphics. And my family wasn't wealthy enough at the time to buy a Super Nintendo, so I just had the regular old classic Nintendo. But I was over at a friend's house and I started playing on this one game, and I forget what it was. It was some super game at the time or whatever. And I was playing it, and I thought I was bored with it after about 15 minutes. And he's like, yeah, but the graphics are great. And I said, yeah, but the game sucks. And you know, I love playing Legend of Zelda. You can't get much more low res graphics than that. But
Legend of Zelda is one of the best games ever.
Yeah, I've never really understood the obsession with, I mean, I suppose just for the sake of technology and having something shiny and new and showing what you can do with the processing and everything else, but ultimately either the games are good or they're not, and whether or not they look photorealistic or not is irrelevant.
They haven't done like a modern, I hate to say it, but like modern remastering or something of Legend of Zelda. If they did the NES version, but just like with the coolest graphics, I think I'd probably like it.
I don't know if you need to mess. It's like with Hollywood movies. Don't mess with what's not broken.
Yeah, no. I mean, I like it for what it is, but I'm saying there's probably a way. Not the way Hollywood does things and the way the gaming is today, but maybe if it was like a private group of people that did it, maybe there's a way to do it in a way that looks cool.
No. I'm just after a fashion. I'm glad that some of these big, huge, giant budget monsters are just like falling off the face of the earth, like Concord and
well, what I'm more talking about is more so like, I mean, you because I agree with what you're saying. It's not so much about graphics as it is innovation, right? Like the last innovative thing I would say that we've really had been the Wii and I almost said AI, but the virtual reality. And even virtual reality is something that's been around for a while.
It's a gimmick more than anything else.
Yeah, and it's kind of more of a gimmick. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. Right. I don't know how it is for the PS5, but the PS4, it was a huge pain in the ass to set up. Now, granted, I guess, okay, so if you don't have a PS5 so far, here's where I guess I could see the advantages of this. Now, monetarily, you're not getting any break on that, but it's supposed to be a bit better system, so you're getting a newer system. You can get all this attachments for it. You can even get the the Blu-ray drive attachment for it, so there is that. But I guess because I don't think that was an option before. If you got the standalone unit without the disc drive, I don't think you had that option before.
This reminds you of the Sega Genesis and all its like stack-on attachments and things.
Well, that's what I'm saying at this point. I mean, I'm not expecting a PS6 at this point or whatever, but
No.
Why are you doing this? That's where my gripe is coming from. Is I'm definitely not going to buy one of these. I don't have a use for it. I already have a PS5 that I don't feel like is being utilized enough.
Well, Nintendo really dominated this generation on a really simple premise. Like they made a much more affordable and portable system. They took their portable market and their console market and merged it. That was kind of a de-innovation, but it was also like a total innovation, right? You had a system that was both a console and portable, and it sold a lot.
Well, where do you go from the Wii, basically?
It's definitely not powerful. It's like, I mean, I guess the Switch is more powerful than the Wii U, but I mean, I'm not really convinced of it when they port the Wii U.
But the Wii U is a perfect
Switch,
example of what I'm talking about, though, right? I mean, they took that about as far as they could go with it, unless you just go graphically each generation, but then they just went a completely different direction with the Switch.
One of my best experiences in gaming was on the Wii U, because that controller was a screen, right? And one thing I love about the PC and PC gaming is I can have multiple monitors, right? So I can have the video game on one screen and I can have all my information and my notes on a second screen. And a game called Xenoblade X on the Wii U was absolutely fantastic for that because it was built into the game. You had the game on your main screen and the controller was the second screen, and the controller had all of your information. It was your menu. It showed you the map and everything that you'd found and hadn't found, and your quest logs. Everything was on the controller. And so it gave me that PC experience where I had all my notes in front of me in my hands, and I could look at it while I was also playing on the main screen. I loved that innovation. It's kind of a shame the system didn't do better than it did. But you look at what happened with the Switch. It's not a $700 system trying to push graphical fidelity. It's a really weak system. But it's affordable and has a lot of great games on it.
Right.
No, but it's innovative. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. You're leveraging people's entertainment. You're not trying to like... I don't understand why a console has to be a supercomputer. I don't understand why it has to cost that much. And especially, like I say, if you set graphical whatever as, I mean, either the fundamentals of the game are good or they're not. If you have to try to jazz it up with a whole bunch of flash and bang and everything else, then you're hiding the fact that something else is going wrong, as far as I'm concerned.
Much like a movie.
Just like a movie or anything else, it's all CGI and everything. And like I say, I know I keep coming back to it. I've been diving into my library of games on Steam that are all like 10 or 15 years old. I just started playing, for the hell of it, Fallout New Vegas again, and without any graphical mods or anything, a couple of bug fixes and things. But other than that, it looks exactly like it would otherwise. And I was like, this is just a good game, and it doesn't matter the graphics aren't photorealistic. The game is fun. I can replay it over and over and over again and enjoy myself. And either you have a sturdy foundation for a game, and then you put something pretty on top of it, or maybe you just make a really good game, have a reasonable graphic element to it. I mean, Kenshi, Fallout New Vegas. I'm playing the Mad Max game from like 2010 or whatever the hell it was or whatever, and it still looks great. These new games don't attract me at all because it's all just noise for the most part, seems like.
Well, I mean, it's the same as movies, right? I mean, great art design holds up. I mean, the original Star Wars, that art design stays with you, right? And in video gaming, Super Mario Brothers 3, you can still play that today. It's not an ugly game, right? No. It still looks good. Just as, I mean, okay, maybe it's got a lower pixel count, and
whatever. Maybe
you want to work with modern monitors and all that. That's fine. But like from an art design perspective and a gameplay perspective and the music, it's a solid game that will still be entertaining 50 years from now, right? And I'm not against a really expensive cinematic experience. I'd love to see I love to be completely immersed in a photorealistic world. Don't get me wrong, right?
Well,
But I mean, but it's not the end all be all. At the end of the day, you need a quality product,
and it's not
will
worth this
still
price
be
point.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good today. Will still be good later. It's like Jurassic Park, right? I remember watching the extras on that movie and how they created the dinosaurs in that movie. And there's a reason why the dinosaurs in the original Jurassic Park look better than any of the movies that came after it. Right?
Mhm.
Because it was done in a way that stands up.
Well,
Right.
one of the big things about it is that a lot of the CG was used to basically enhance a lot of things. It wasn't the most reliant be all end all. There were things that were super duper necessary, things you literally couldn't do, and then of course once again enhancement. Nowadays it's just well, this is easy and we can just rely on it. They've gotten so over reliant on it, and on top of it, because they've gotten so reliant, it's caused more work and more time. And you have workers who are getting burnt out because they have more work to do with less time because more stuff is being put in front of them. It's just a domino effect of creating a cluster with this CG.
Now, if you hand somebody $700 that they'd pay for this thing and say, wait for the next Steam sale, you'll have years of entertainment you can afford.
Yeah.
You don't need this
wow,
thing.
Yeah.
You can
buy
think about it
so
in those
much of
terms.
that.
Just think about it in those terms. It's just like if this thing is effectively just a digital router for digital games to your TV, you don't need it. That stuff already exists at cheaper price points, and you can
Pretty much.
and a Steam sale, buy a Steam Link, and just wait for the next the autumn sale or whatever the next big sale is. And
Doesn't
if you
Steam
got-
have a little bit better track record as far as not pulling games too than compared to some of these other ones like Sony and Nintendo?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, unless something like really controversial happens or something, or if a developer like pulls it themselves. But
Right.
but yeah, no, anybody thinking about buying this, save your money or save the money you'd spend on somebody's gift or something, and just gift them. I mean, if you really want to have a digital router for games, get a Steam Link and tell them to wait for the Steam sale, and they'll be way better off than this thing.
Most likely.
One more example that comes to mind is the PlayStation 1, right? You have that era where 3D was just coming in for the first time. And I understand there's a balance you have to play where you need to practice with new technology in order to innovate. You have to learn it, right? And that like kind of late 90s era it had a lot of really ugly looking early 3D looking games, right? And one of my absolute favorites of all time is a game called Alundra. And it's basically Sony was trying to, or the PlayStation was trying to tap into the whole Zelda hype, and they absolutely nailed it. It's one of the best Zelda kind of games you'll ever play. And then it got a sequel, Alundra 2. And the developers had the misfortunate idea of, instead of making kind of like a top-down 2D Zelda and doing what was going to work, they dabbled in something that was way beyond their means, right? And I think that they went 3D with it, and it had its moments, but you wouldn't really want to play it today. And I think that still has to be a factor. It's like people tend to bite off more than they can chew. Concord might have failed for other pretty obvious reasons, but somebody bit off a lot more than they could chew with that game. And it's a common story, right? In films and games, it's like you need good management. You need somebody who knows, okay, this is our budget. This is what we're going to create. We're going to be able to create it well. And when it doesn't work, I mean, some of the what was that name of that? It was the name of a series that was it Fatal Frame or something like that from the PlayStation era. There sometimes you get games that really try to innovate. I'll see if I can Google it, but I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I'm coming from, but let's see what the audience is talking about. Benny Dragon 5 has been a member for a year. Thank you for that, Benny Dragon 5. So let me get this straight. It's barely an upgrade. It can't play DVDs. You have to buy things separately, and it's $700? Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah,
Wait,
I hear you.
You can't play DVDs?
Nope, it doesn't have a disc
It has
drive.
no
You have to buy
drive.
that separately.
No
Yep.
drive. Yeah.
Did somebody not think of that when they were creating it?
Like I said, I see it. Okay, I see it as like if you're somebody who does not have a PS5 already, because unless somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because my understanding of the old one is I have the one with the disc drive, which was like an extra $100 or whatever it was at the time when it came out, or you could get the other one that didn't have a disc drive. But as far as I know, you couldn't buy like a standalone extended unit for the disc drive. Now this has that. So if you don't already have one and you still want it, I mean, I guess you can get it, but you're still paying that much more for it at the end of the day. So, I mean, I guess unless you're a gamer who actually uses discs still, I mean, and frankly, I mean, the way these are set up, does it even really matter if you have a physical fucking copy anymore? Because if you can't get online, if you can't, if they drop their whatever for the game, can you still play half these games without a patch?
That's a whole nother can of worms. And once upon a time, you bought a game and you didn't need to patch it. So you can buy a physical copy. That's wonderful. But then it takes like a 10 or 20 gigabyte patch to even if you can play it without the patch, it's an incomplete game and it's probably full of bugs and maybe has a game breaking bug in it. It's like, great, you have a physical copy. But unless you have an internet connection and you can update it and you're still tied to the system and all the rest of that stuff, it's kind of just a useless disc. It's nice. Mm-hmm. It has the artwork. They used to have instruction manuals.
Ooh,
remember when physical games used to have like 100-page instruction manuals?
Not anymore.
With like lore, all that lore in there, and artwork and stuff.
Well, that cut into the price of the guides, so like you can't have that.
Yeah, Nintendo Power.
They got smaller and smaller. Now it's a 5-page booklet with a couple of ads in it. Now it's like, you can download the instruction booklet if you really want in an empty case.
I still have my copy of Nintendo Power for Castlevania 2 that tells you how to actually get the rest of the game.
That's what I mean. That gets in the way of those sales. Gerald Campos is here, if I'm saying that right. Campos sends in $10 and says, please play Hitler Rants video about PS5. It's always fun. Hitler Rants? Is this like the Hitler?
No, it's a puppet Hitler on YouTube or whatever I think it is. Something like that. If we can get away with it and we don't get like spiked for it.
Hitler Rants are so funny.
All right. Yeah, it's like almost 5 minutes long, so I don't know if we can play the whole thing, but... Oh, this is from 3 years ago. All right. So this is from like 3 years ago.
3 years? Oh my God. Is that long? That's how long the PS5's been out? Jeez.
Wow.
We can't watch that. We'll get nailed anyway, but thank you for that.
By the way, that's a great film. If you haven't seen Downfall, definitely watch Downfall. It's a great movie.
It reminds me, I was in line with friends for when the PS3 launched. That was 2006, I remember, because it was like May or June. And we were in line for that. Of course, I ordered pizza. I had to throw that in there well in line. They did deliver to me while I was in line. We waited 6-7 hours. We got our PS3. But now they made it such a ridiculous pain to do it with this internet thing. And I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know how they did during PS4, but it feels like however they did things in 2021, it feels like I feel like they should have made these things, maybe get them at the store and have a good amount of them for each store to carry or whatever the store allows. Because it was able to happen for PS2 and 3 and assumingly 4. Why did 5 had to go this route?
I do remember the PS3 being a little elusive.
There were some issues with some of the early versions, but the thing is, everyone was still able to get one.
Yeah, I don't know.
The earliest PS3s are the ones you want.
I was going to say maybe in some more metropolitan areas, but I know I had a little trouble getting one until like Christmas that year. But anyway... in other news, let's get back into these super chats. We've got DCB Titan who says with $2 Canadian graphics are tertiary. That's I knew what it meant. Tertiary after gameplay and story. If I could read, that's
exactly.
I got everybody who reads the actual super chats automatically forgets how to read. It's just the way it is. On every other show, I can sit there and correct everybody all day long. Yeah. And Mike Joseph's in the chat backing me up on the PS3 thing. I was going to say, yeah, because I remember it wasn't easy to get right away. I was kind of pissy. But Lester San Jose Skeptic Tank is here and has been here for 14 months. Thank you. Says, everyone is in the instant gratification of being an app developer game programmer. I keep hearing Unreal Engine makes it easier. Back in the day, it was real innovation, not now. Nobody takes the risks. Yeah, and I mean, that's not a problem. It's not like a lot of games don't build themselves on the same engines in the past, too. It's just a matter of what are you bringing new to the table? Because I agree with what Scribe was saying. It's not all about the graphics so much. For me, it's like, okay, what is this game going to let me do that I never got to do before? To me, like, I mean, maybe the Wii was the last most innovative thing that was done for gaming, but the last innovative game was GTA, or like, you know, GTA 3 or whatever, that kind of began that whole thing, because at that point you had the open world concept to where everything I do affects you know what I mean? Like, and that's probably the next plateau is like, okay, I actually get to be part of the story itself. Not actually just, you know, play the story and then the game, but actually get to affect the story a little bit more than just picking and choosing a few random choices. Like it actually gets more interactive with AI or something like that.
I got to shout out a game called Omicron: The Nomad Soul, because that game came out at the earliest part of these, like when games were trying to do something completely open world where you could really play around, and it's not polished by today's standards, but it's worth checking out because it had David Bowie in it, and you could go around and David Bowie was in a band in the game, and he'd be playing at these clubs in the city. And
I think I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, it's a fun game, but that is a game that really tried to innovate and do what games weren't previously doing, right?
Yeah. Kalekioki says 2-word for you to Telltale. I think somebody else has said that before too. But I mean, yeah. Let's see here. What else we got? We got Mr. Buttcrack Media in the house for 20 cents. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, what was that?
That was me on my end
What
somewhere.
was that?
Something fell. I just don't know what. Kitty's right behind me. What did you do? Oh, Sadie knocked over some movies. That's what it was.
Okay, so I was right.
Sadie. Thank you for being here for 27 months. And then we got Kalekioki sending in $10 and says, the Switch sold on an affordability when it comes to power, it falls short horrendously. As for innovation, grab your Wii U gamepad and your Switch. They essentially sold as Wii U gamepad and Wii fell for it. Yeah, I mean, again, I had a Wii, but I don't even know, my kids stole it. And Yellow Flash actually sent me a one of the newer ones, a Switch, but I need to get some parts for it to make it actually work, because it wasn't a complete system. But for the most part, it's all there. I just need some cords, basically. But yeah, so I've not even really tried them yet, so I can't really speak to them. But if you guys want to speak to the Wii U or any of the Switch, you can. I just never played them yet.
I have not played a Switch. I do want to get one. That way me and the family can play one. But, you know, hey, I'll have to take what Mr. Kalichi says with a pinch of salt. Maybe there's some truth to it.
I mean, as I said earlier, the Switch isn't... I don't... Maybe it's more powerful than the Wii U. I don't know that it necessarily is. So I kind of get where Kaleki's coming from on this one. It's not a very powerful system, but it has such a massive library of games, and it is portable. And as long as you don't want to play, you know, something modern, as long as you don't want to play Elden Ring on it, if you're just looking to play stuff like Hollow Knight, indie games, or any kind of first party games, it's dependable. You know, not all the games, a lot of games run at 60 frames per second. Some are run at 30. But it feels like sometimes with the PS5, it's like, if you want 60 frames per second, you're getting a smeared out experience anyways. So at least it's dependable, you know?
Mm-hmm. I guess that's all, folks.
There you go. And Stark of Iron, thank you, Sadie. Stark of Iron sends in 2 and says, excellent use of that old meme, seen so many. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So thank you for that, guys. And with that, let's move on to our next story. Real quickly, Josh Brolin will not be playing Green Lantern.
Hal Jordan, to be specific.
Hal Jordan, to be specific.
You know, if he were like, I'd say 20 years younger, I would go for it. I mean, yes, he's aged better than a lot of gentlemen his age.
I'm just sick of seeing him in every comic book movie, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's fair too. I know he's been in a lot of things, Jonah Hex, Thanos, Cable. But if I had to put all that aside, Hal Jordan's supposed to be like maybe either late 20s, early 30s at best, because he's with Carol Ferris, and she's definitely young as well. I know they're young pilots, so you definitely want to have young and youthful to play that type of role. You want to have the evil Knievel Daredevil at Spirit, of course, not Daredevil Matt Murdock. You want to have that guy who's be high flying and profiling type of guy. And Josh Brolin is just beyond past that. Even if you're like, you have to be old man Green Lantern, but I think we've had enough old man takes for a while. I think we need to have our heroes get back to their cores and let's get to know them and invest in them, grow with them, and then we can have those type of stories again. I mean, hell, if he was going to play anyone, Josh Brolin in the DCU, they could do someone different with him. Maybe like even a Hawkman. Maybe actually make him look like Hawkman and be Carter Hall if you had to bring him in.
No, I was when I heard Josh Brolin was up for possible role, I just thought to myself, you know, can we get away from having this static stable of comic book actors where it's like the same people we see in the same movies over and over again?
That's fine. I mean, I agree with that. I'm just saying if I put all that aside and you had to put in something, I feel like Hawkman would be more suited to his liking.
Okay. Yeah. I think someone a little less, someone with a little less name recognition, a little less saturation in the market would be fine. Like, don't bring in Pedro Pascal, don't bring in Josh Brolin, all of James Gunn's stable of actors swapping places from Marvel to DC. It's like, you know, not only give somebody else a chance, but let's have people. I remember when like somebody portrayed a particular iconic character and then that was kind of it. You know, for a while until they were in a much different age of their life. Like Sean Connery is James Bond, and then he's Henry Jones, and then outside of that, it's just sort of like little films. Otherwise, he doesn't like one doesn't overtake the other. To be Thanos and be Cable and be this and that, just stop.
Yeah, I do. Ultimately, I do agree. So make no mistake about what I'm saying. Yeah, we definitely need fresh blood to come in there and try to actually be faithful to how the characters are presented if you're gonna do it. And even on his best day, as far as how he looks like, he's not Hal Jordan. His attitude doesn't suit Hal Jordan either. He's usually Brolin's a lot more. He likes to play angry characters, which I love him for. Hal Jordan is a lot more free-spirited. He always has his bosses on the edge of their seat because, well, he lives life on the edge of suspense. And he's fun. He's funny. He's a badass. He's not like jokey, like let's just like Spider-Man in the Flash, but he's just a very lively, energetic guy. He lives for the moment. And that doesn't really fit Josh Brolin's resume. And that's fine. It just means that he's just not appropriate for the part.
He's basically Maverick in Top Gun.
Hal Jordan? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin he's not a Maverick. And you know what? He's not even a goose. He's not a rooster. He's none of those guys. Hangman, he ain't any of those guys.
He's none of those birds.
He would probably look at them all playing volleyball at the beach and be like, I don't want to play this game. And he'd turn around and he's the type of guy who would have not played the volleyball game with the guys. Whereas the Mad Mardigans of the world, like, send me more men. But we don't got that. So anyways, we've gone on about Hal Jordan and Josh Brolin.
Does anybody else want to chime in on that? All right, moving along. Speaking of casting news, they're threatening to cast Jared Leto as Skeletor in the new.
It's actually not a bad casting. He's
no, it's horrible casting.
No.
And he's a bit psycho.
I feel like anytime you say that he's attached to something these days, I already have a bad feeling about it because of the Joker.
Right?
It's hard for me to take him seriously. It's not that he's the worst actor. I don't know. He really blew it with the Joker.
Yeah, I like him in the right things. I don't want him playing Skeletor.
No, he doesn't seem like Skeletor at all.
Not one bit.
No.
Steve Buscemi, how hard is it? Just give me Steve Buscemi. It's gonna be a model in a fucking costume anyway. So like,
you know who it should be, just because he could probably do the voice well, and if you gave him the right
or Willem
direction.
Dafoe. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry,
Jim Carrey. Have Jim Carrey play Skeletor.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, have him play it up, and I mean, especially if they go. I mean, I guess it depends on what the tone of the show is. If they're trying to go for the sort of Masters of the Universe quasi serious acting, then no, you don't want a Jim Carrey. If you're trying to ham it up a bit,
I think Willem Dafoe is great. If it's
Willem Dafoe would
all
be
of those choices are actually pretty damn good.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe would be a great middle ground for you could get your drama gravitas, but as well with a twinkle of, hamming up a little bit. So yeah,
he's starting to become guilty of being in properties too as well. Don't get me wrong, Willem Dafoe is obviously the cream of the crop.
True, but finally you can do to him.
But man, he's definitely starting to get saturated a bit, and I hate that. I hate saying that because he is absolutely A+ talent. He's undeniable.
Oh, you're absolutely right. In fact, because I said that his whole part could have been cut out of Beetlejuice, and it wouldn't have mattered.
And I liked his part, but it was
I
it's
did
definitely
too, but...
something that you could have cut out. As much as I liked it.
Oh, so you finally saw it?
I did. You could have cut it out, and it would have not affected anything. And I hate that because once again, I enjoyed his character.
Me too. Like I said, I could watch a spin-off series of this guy, but in the movie, he just doesn't serve any real purpose. No. But at the end of the day, yeah, Willem Dafoe, you could finally just put him in makeup instead, like they should have done with Spider-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he looks skeletal enough. All right, He-Man.
I can't imagine Jared Leto having that type of Skeletor voice. That just doesn't seem like Jared Leto.
Be kind of,
I think he's gonna try to like Hot Topic it up or something. He'll find.
I see where they're going because Keldor, I guess most versions of Keldor kind of look like that. But if you're gonna do Jared Leto, I just assume you get Loki. What's his name? Tom Hiddleston.
I'd rather see Tom Hiddleston would actually. Oh, that's actually a good idea.
I would prefer Tom Hiddleston actually.
Yeah, because he's got more.
He's not oversaturated either, and he's definitely got the talent. That would be a really good way.
Jeremy Irons wouldn't be a bad one either.
He's kind of old, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, well, a lot of the ones we mentioned were old too, and I mean, I get it. Jared Leto, like to me, he almost comes off as too young, even though I know he's not that young.
Jared Leto seems like he'll be more of like a metrosexual version of Skeletor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically Soilator.
Just look at his trajectory as a musician.
He would work as Keldor, just not as Skeletor. That's my problem. And for those who don't know who the fuck I'm talking about, Keldor is who Skeletor is before he becomes Skeletor.
Or when he's the blue guy.
The blue skin, yeah, and he looks, he's very gorgeous and, all that kind of shit. So, like, yeah, as far as the eyes and the look that Jared Leto can pull off, that's where I'm saying if you're going to do that, then get Tom Hiddleston to where I can buy him in both roles. Because, honestly, I don't see what Leto's going to bring to the table in this. I'm not even looking forward to his Tron movie, right? Like, he's one of those actors that accidentally throws in a good role once in a while, but then the rest of his movies are like Morbius and shit. Then he does the weird shit like he did in that fucking Blade
Why
Runner.
are they making a Tron with him? There was a Tron that initially with Gareth Hedlund or whatever his name is, and Olivia Wilde and Jeff Bridges. Why didn't they make a sequel to that movie?
Well, I guess it technically is going to be.
But are any of those people going to be there, or it's just going to be the Jared Leto and all the other
Jeff
people?
Bridges is.
Jeff Bridges is going to be in it?
Yep.
What about the guy that played his son in the Gareth Hedlund or whatever his name is?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about this movie.
Because it's not the one they were going to make, but it's still supposed to be a sequel to the last one.
It doesn't feel good to me. Once you said Jared Leto, I feel not good about it.
Yeah, that's what has me worried too.
Because I actually like Tron Legacy. I know that not everybody liked it, but I actually enjoyed it, and I was looking forward to a sequel.
Most people enjoyed it.
And then 50 years, there's no sequel, and at the end they're like, well, we'll give you one, but only if it has Jared Leto in it. And it's like, why? Why is that? Why was that like the prerequisite to having it?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, it's just my 2 cents.
So yeah, I hope he turns it down, or it's just a rumor. But that comes from Jeff Snyder, of course. The In-Snyder!
Jeff Snyder annoys me.
He kind of annoys me too, but he's no Mendelsohn, at least.
No, he's not a Mendelsohn.
Or a Paul Tassi.
No, he's not one of those. Those are annoying more. He's just, I don't know. I mean, every time he's like, oh, I have the scoop. Like, does he really have scoops? I don't even know.
I mean,
is his track record?
I'd have to go back and check his track record, to be honest with you. That's the thing, yeah.
I'm not even sure he has a good track record. Each time he just farts, everybody's like, wow, Snyder said, did you get it? It's like...
because he used to work for Vanity Fair or Variety or whatever it was, and then he went out on his own. Yeah,
I once like he said something annoying online, and I think I replied to one of his tweets, but he didn't. I was kind of like taking a dig at him, but he didn't understand it. So he responded, and he's like, "I don't understand what you meant. Could you explain it?" And then I'm just like, I couldn't even like
or it was bait
properly. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't even enjoy myself. Like I don't know. He took even that fun away from me, I guess.
Like that, or it was bait. One of the two, yeah.
Or he's smart, and that was a good way to get rid of me. Because what am I gonna do?
Well, yeah, that, or he's trying to bait you into a fight, or saying exactly what he wants you to say, or whatever. But anyhow, let's see what's going on in the chat. We got Gerald Compass sending in another $5. Thank you, Gerald. And we got or Gerald. I don't know which one you prefer. Sorry, I left out the Pro, but here is Hitler Rants on PS5 Pro. Oh, there is a Pro one. Okay, I did not know there was a Pro one. Well, we'll check that out quick. I know a couple of us might have to leave here soon, though, so... You might have put the Pro in there, but that was like just the first one that popped up. Let me... shit. It was just released today, I'd imagine. No results. Okay. This week. If there's a new one, I don't see it.
I might have found it.
You got it?
It was about 10 or 15 results down, because YouTube sometimes buries things.
Oh, that's probably why, yeah.
YouTube.
Okay, here we go. We got it.
That's unthinkable. Come on. Hey, conspiracy theorists?
Imagine that.
Es ist dem Feind gelungen, die Front in breiter Form.
Whoops. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong button.
Der Feind operiert jetzt.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And actually, that's pretty much most of the stories I had today. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, we got the presidential debate thing coming up, so everybody's talking about that.
Oh, shit.
When does that start?
In about 35 minutes or so. Because I know Scribe has to be leaving us here because he's going to be doing something with that. So if you want to check out now, that's up to you. Otherwise, we're going to be rolling on.
Yeah, I gotta put together a debate bingo card real quick to go off and do that.
Oh, that won't take long. You'll fill that thing up in 5 minutes. You got.
I'm
edition.
I'm already done basically.
I'm talking here.
No, well,
train wreck.
No, she'll have a hard time doing that because they're muting the mics in between questions, so she won't have that.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, we'll see.
But I'll be over on, for anybody interested, I'll be over on the YouTube channel called The Silent Sin with my friend Sinatra Says. We'll be doing some commentary. Pre-game show starts in about 10 minutes or so. And then we won't be able to stream the debate live, but we'll be doing it in tandem with the broadcast. So if you want to watch along with us. And so we'll start in about 10 minutes for the pregame. The debate starts at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. So everybody, guys, thank you so much for having me on. And looking forward to seeing you on the next show. And everybody in the chat, hope you have a good evening. And I'll see you later.
See you later, dude.
Yeah, bye, guys.
They nuked the stream over a meme that's been like basically public domain for years now.
Yeah, but
really?
You're expecting YouTube to know that and understand that. They don't.
Or is Sony just pissed off that we're shitting on them?
What? We got what? Seriously?
You got hit, yeah.
For fuck's sake. You gotta be goddamn kidding me.
What do you mean the stream was nuked?
We're not on anymore. We're not live.
It's a temporary down, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a full like strike down. It's just a temporary down.
Still stupid.
You get 3 of those, then they issue a strike. One's you're fine. It'll just come back up, and in the replay, the funny thing is, in my experience, you don't even get a claim on most of these things.
Yeah, I know.
Chances are you won't have to cut it out. It'll just come back up, and for the replay, everyone watching it, it'll be like, there'd be no claim. It'll be fine. But for whatever reason,
that was for that fucking clip. I knew it was too long.
Yeah. We talked over it. We talked over the whole thing. You can, if you really want to.
But once again, we know YouTube's not going to care or consider that. They're just going to hit us because they can. Hi,
hey.
Back. Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. We just realized we don't know how long we were off, but yeah, because of how long the clip was, they tore us down. So yeah, unfortunately, guys, that's why we resist playing clips and shit. And I know it's fun for you guys to show us stuff. My suggestion is just to share it with us on like Twitter and stuff like that. That way we get to see it, because anything more than 10, 20, 30 seconds always gets claimed, always is a problem. And then you run into this stupid shit all the time. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. We apologize. But yeah, I don't even know if you guys got to see the whole video, but we did play the whole video this time, and that's unfortunately what happened. So
this is in the chat. It happened right after we mentioned the debate.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that too, but yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think that's just a happy accident.
Yeah.
The only other story I had was the Peter Cushing one, but I'm looking into this, and I'm not so sure that it's his a former body double, I guess, who's claiming he has the likeness rights, which I don't know if he's going to have much of a ground to stand on unless he's got something in fucking writing. And I think George Lucas bought the likeness rights for everybody back in the day for Star Wars. Like, that was the whole joke that Carrie Fisher used to make, is that every time she looks in the mirror, she's got to pay George a couple of bucks because he owns her likeness rights. So yeah, I was going to get into that, but I don't know if that's really anything until there's a little bit more on that to really even get into for sure. I think it's going to go nowhere, but that's just me at this point. I could be wrong. But otherwise, I think we're going to wrap this up anyway, because we got the debates coming up. I know some people want to watch that. We got Toxic Tuesday coming up. So Nick, tonight we're going to party.
He's going to kill us. He's going to shit. And then he's gonna kill us.
Oh man, maybe the teacher won't take my pizza away. That would straight up crush my heart.
Listen to this. That's my skull. I'm so wasted.
Yes. Anyways, in little over an hour, Toxic Tuesday, Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be diabolical. It's gonna be huge for those who want to get away from politics, because I'm just going to catch the replay of it, and maybe I'll catch some of it before tonight's extravaganza. And yes, there will definitely be some homoeroticism in this one. You can bet on that one. So good to see you all here. I'm sorry that my gamer friends are getting ripped off from these systems. That's an absolute scam. You all deserve better. Thanks for having me. Good to hang out with you dudes, and I'll see a lot of you soon.
I mean, if anything, look at the bright side. It might bring down the price on the other PS5.
And the original PS5 was garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the cost of that. Oh.
Well, yeah.
As I won't say, I feel better for the gamers, because I've not had a chance in years to be a consistent gamer. I did have a PS5, and I barely was able to play it for 6 months, so I ended up selling it. And I'm just like, wow, what happened from when PS2 to PS5 happened? Now you have to buy everything in order to have anything on there. So yeah, clearly I missed a lot from when I was an active gamer to when I stopped and tried to come back. Holy crap. Anyways, I'm shutting the hell up now.
You're fine. Go ahead, CC.
The PS5 Pro probably has enough actual power. It's just like 5 years too late. It's still $700. Don't buy an original PS5. Don't do it. Not even for like $400 unless you're absolutely desperate. It doesn't. It can't hoof it. You know. Yeah, that's all I had to
What do you
say.
got going on, CC? Anything you want to plug?
I can't commit to karaoke on Friday unless I know that I'm here. If I'm here,
All right.
I totally owe you karaoke by this point.
All right.
But if I've moved on to the next site has no internet, so that won't work. But I'll let you know.
All right. Sounds good. Price, what you got going on? You got a show later?
Yeah, there's the Night Owl at 11:45 p.m. and you can watch that on my live channel, Price of Reason Live. Plus, I've started posting on my main channel again. In addition to the Beetlejuice review, I had a interesting video that I talked about some stuff that I saw in Forbes, which some people may be interested in. So, yeah, I think now's a good time to visit my channels.
All right. Sounds good. With that, folks, I want to thank you all for being here. Hit that like button and make sure you're still subscribed and all that good stuff. Tell your friends about us. And yeah, with that, we're going to get out of here.
A combination of Dirty Dozen, Seven Samurai, and Star Wars in space.